Hello and welcome. It's Lauren. For the past 7 months, I've been living in the Netherlands, and this video documents my first time traveling back to the United States since packing up my entire life and moving abroad with my boyfriend. I missed a lot of things about Midwest America, including the people, the cities, the food, the scenery, and so much more. Now, let's start from the beginning. The journey began by taking 4 different trains from where I live in southern Netherlands to get to Dusseldorf Airport in Germany. You'd think since Amsterdam Airport is the 4th largest in Europe, I'd find better deals on flights home from there. But Dusseldorf has surprisingly shocked me with their cheap flights to America. My first flight was from Dusseldorf, Germany to London Heathrow. Pretty sure I was only on this flight for less than an hour. I then had an hour and a half layover in London until I boarded my big flight of the day. 8 hours all the way to Chicago O'Hare. The plane was packed, so I unfortunately didn't have the option to sprawl out and sleep, but I did have a delicious vegetarian gnocchi and watch Friends before attempting a long nap. America, there you are. My mom picked me up from Chicago and we drove to my home state, Indiana, that night. Running for the first time in my hometown in 7 months. Love it. And another perk, it's 73 Fahrenheit right now. Couldn't get better. So this is the neighborhood my mom lives in. I feel like this just kind of gives you an idea of typical southern Indiana neighborhood. You get the vibes. A lot of brick houses, decently big front yards, multiple garages, American flags, obviously. One thing about being in America is that you're going to see the American flag everywhere. Gotta love that American pride. Here it is, right here on the door. And then we've also got the state flag right here. And the Irish flag, because there's a neighboring city named Ireland, and it's also March 18th, so very close to St. Patty's Day, all that kind of stuff. And then, boom, America. Love it. All in the middle of this little cemetery on the side of Country Road that I'm currently on. I'm really not kidding. Here's another one. Adding to the list of things that I missed, Trader Joe's body butter and after shower oil. Mwah. Mwah. I also dearly missed my mother's pancakes. The secret to great American pancakes? Loads of butter. One of the worst parts about me moving abroad has been not being able to drive. And that's because we don't have a automatic car. Ours is manual and I can't drive manual, so it's the worst. And then B, I don't have the proper driver's license because I would have to have a manual driver's license. So being in the car that I drove in for 5, 6, 7, almost 8 years, it is so surreal. I literally can't stop smiling. So if you can drive, don't forget, it is a privilege. It is a privilege. Wish me luck. First time driving in 7 months. This is so pretty, actually. This is very aesthetically pleasing. Let's see these muffins.
Muffins.
Hannah's got 12 of them. You want one?
I have way too many.
Visiting my sister at my old elementary school. I loved seeing this addition to the entrance, a flag to represent each country the students are from. It did not used to be this diverse when I attended 15 years ago. The high school band was performing the day I visited. They even played my old high school's fight song. Let me read it. I like your videos. Very cute. Very cute. The next evening, I took a 3.5-hour car ride with my college best friend's parents from my hometown to Cincinnati, Ohio. Here, my college friend Vi was celebrating her medical school residency placement with a big ceremony. The star of the show! Each med student was given this poster to state what specialty and where they are pursuing that specialty after they opened a top-secret letter stating the location they had been assigned to. We all counted down to when the students were allowed to open their letters.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It was so fun seeing the students share with one another where they had been placed. Some even opened their letters blindly on stage in front of everyone alongside their loved ones. Here's an example of it. And some others that were couples within the medical school would announce where they were being placed in hopes of it being the same city, such as this couple.
And I'm Claire, I'm going into emergency medicine.
To our friends and family watching, we love you.
We've been together for 9 years, we're getting married in May.
I'm matched at Beth Israel.
And I'm actually at BMC, we're moving to Boston!
My goodness, she's cute. The clouds look perfect. Gorgeous today. I've never seen this before. Tool rental. This is so cool.
That's my capstone of drafting.
Okay, gorgeous. Jim? Jim?
I got her that for Christmas.
Jim?
It's not real. It's just very sweet. She loves it.
There she is! I missed it! Now that the Cincinnati festivities are over, it's time for a more tame segment of my Midwest tour, back to Holland, Indiana, my hometown. Holland was founded in 1859 and present day has a population of less than 1,000 people. It was named after, you guessed it, the European Holland, aka the Netherlands. At the entrance to the park, there's a brick windmill representing the town's Dutch heritage. Outside of the park, there's an elementary school, a convenience store, post office, and a couple of restaurants. You could probably tour the entire place in an hour. It's quiet and quaint, and I'm proud to call it home. Fun fact, I was named Queen of Holland when I was 15 years old. This is the view from my sister's front porch. It's pretty common in this area to have a concrete slab by your house for kids to draw with chalk, ride bikes, or play basketball. You can pretty well gather that the terrain around here consists of rolling hills, open fields typically planted with corn or beans for livestock, deciduous trees, and in the spring, fields of dandelions. I miss mac and cheese so much. Look at this. Yummy. And the classic Hungry Jack. The following day, I spent some time at my dad's house. He geared me up for a motorcycle ride with him on his new Harley. This was also my very first ride on a motorcycle. Wish me luck! Building a house and it is going on this piece of land. A little messy right now, but I think it's gonna look good. The next morning, I went to my old college town, Evansville, Indiana, to visit a friend, Sienna. Evansville is the third largest city in Indiana and is the biggest city in southern Indiana, which means everyone comes here for shopping. Since moving abroad, I've really missed familiar stores like TJ Maxx, so naturally, Sienna and I had to go. For anyone who doesn't know, TJ Maxx isn't a regular department store. They have a lot of the same name brands as department stores, but their items are marked 20 to 60% below full retail price. It's amazing. For dinner, my family and I tried a new Latin restaurant in Evansville called Fuego. So this is the arepas?
These are arepas, yeah.
And this is what?
I think the beef balls or something.
Oh.
Beef balls.
These were Latin-styled croquettes. All right, we've got a gold leaf on our blob of mousse. It looks like a poached egg. Oh yeah. These are the best cookies ever. My sister makes them. Here's my cute little nephew, Kale. This is a lot of what playtime looks like around here. Riding bikes outside, using squirt guns, playing with the kitty, playing with more squirt guns, and playing with whatever other animals are around the house that day. In this case, baby geese. My niece and nephew, Oakland and Hudson, love to ride their Ranger around. This thing even has Bluetooth audio, so you can hook up whatever playlist. Yes, there are seatbelts, thank God. It's a bit of a circus around here sometimes, but they sure are entertaining. Here's a view of my brother's front yard. As you can see from his place and my sister's from before, having a bit of land in front of your home is pretty common around here. After staying at my brother's that night, my sister and her family came to pick me up the next morning for a little adventure. We went to the Indiana Caverns. Apparently, this is the 7th longest cave system in the U.S. Wow. This is my brother-in-law, Mark, explaining sinkholes. Apparently, just beneath the soil in southern Indiana lies a band of limestone bedrock. This limestone below the land surface has naturally been dissolved over time by groundwater circulating through it and has resulted in the formation of sinkholes, springs, and caves. Got a stalagmite here, it might reach the ceiling. Stalactite on the top. So it's tight to the ceiling. 38,000 years old. Bison.
They always tell people on the search story they were down into the water, it makes the water go deep and super clear. It's actually pretty muddy and only a few feet deep. And I mean inches. Few inches. It's possible that I'll hit a mud bank or a wall.
Is that Noah? He said a Bigfoot. No.
Outside the cave, there were a few more activities to do, such as this hang gliding ride they called the Bat Blaster, as well as gem mining. My nephew Noah sifted through a sandbag in running water to find some colorful gems and rocks to take home.
Oh, you got one too!
There was also a small goat farm here, so of course we had to feed the pygmy goats before leaving. On our way home, we grabbed Mexican food. This giant meal was only about $12 US. Chips, salsa, and drink were free. Perks of American dining. One thing I will always appreciate about where I grew up is the ability to step outside and immediately be surrounded by nature and all that it includes. Animals, green grass, water, trees, and endless fresh air. My last Indiana sunrise for a little while. Saying goodbye to my family was not easy, especially knowing it'll be 8 months until I see them next. There's a saying that pops into my head every time I feel sad in times like these, and it goes, "How lucky am I to have something so special that makes saying goodbye so hard?" That's pretty much the best way to summarize my feelings in this moment. I'm so thankful to have a place and people like this to come home to. Giggly girl! Giggly! America! Land of the cheap gas. Look at that, $3.19! Woohoo! Gotta say this isn't normal, but here we are drinking sparkling mineral water on our little road trip. Is it coffee liqueur? Okay, nice. And, oh, Hershey Simple. That night, we stayed at my cousin's house in a suburb located outside of Chicago called Geneva. It was absolutely gorgeous, with its dark and rich hardwood floors contrasted with accents of white, marvelous staircase, and even a bar built into the wall with tiled backsplash plus a wine cooler. The basement was known as a play den as well as a guest lair. There was a plush bed calling my name, but not quite yet. We had to play some games before sleeping. You'll find that some Americans hold a lot of pride in their heritage. For example, my cousin's wife has Irish roots and likes to sprinkle some Irish decor in wherever she can. We took a passenger train into Chicago that next morning. Passenger trains are a rare find in America. This one was a little more old school than the trains I'm used to riding within Europe. The seats were similar to those you see in an American school bus, and there were no tray tables or charging ports. It took us an hour to get to the city by train. Being in a big city never ceases to amaze me. It makes you feel so small, but I think in the best way. There's so much to do, and you'll always see some interesting people too. One of my best friends lives in Chicago, so she picked us up, and we went to her apartment to meet her new puppy. She was the cutest. Chicago, Illinois is the largest city in Midwest America, with a population of 2.6 million people. It's known for being the birthplace of the skyscraper and for its other significant pieces of architecture, including museums, theaters, bridges, homes, and churches. We wanted to go to a picturesque spot for a girls' brunch. One of the most well-known spots for this is 3 Arts Club Cafe at Restoration Hardware. Restoration Hardware is an upscale furniture brand, but the main floor of this building was made into a stunning restaurant. I mean, look at this brick and this chandelier. Holy cow. Chicago dining isn't cheap, especially not here. Just an omelet alone is $20. Our choices included a spread of omelets, crispy potatoes, sourdough toast, sausage, lox bagels, and a lot of lattes. We explored the rest of the building after eating. The second floor included a lot of display furniture, sample fabrics, accent pieces, and accessories, plus an amazing view of the restaurant from above. My God, this place is just so beautiful. Next up is the top floor. Here, there was a great display of patio furniture, garden waterfalls, plants, light fixtures, mirrors, and more. Even if you decide you don't want to eat here, I highly recommend just coming to take a tour of the rest of the building itself. And you absolutely cannot leave without exploring the rooftop outdoor section. It was a perfect secluded spot for some scenic pictures inside Chicago. It's free to get inside the building, so seriously, there's no reason for you not to visit. You will not be disappointed. Here were the results from our photo shoot. We parted ways with my friend Kara after this and set off on a walk towards Lake Michigan. You know how I said before there's just so much to look at? This is another perfect example of that. The houses, the fences, the windows, the buildings, all of these details add so much character to the streets of Chicago. This is the Chicago lakefront. There's a sidewalk paved around the coastline of this part of Lake Michigan. There's never been a time where I've been here and haven't seen the sidewalks bustling with activity. People come here to run along the water and skyscrapers, take a dip in the lake, walk their dogs, cycle, and even when it's nice out, sunbathe. And if you keep walking along the lakefront, you'll eventually find yourself on a small beach. Our next mission of the day was to find a permanent jewelry store. We found a place that offered permanent jewelry in the Northbridge shopping mall. The store was called Alexandra Marks. Once we walked in, we were sent to a stand that held all the different chain and charm options. Each chain was priced differently based on whether it was pure gold, gold-coated, and the intricacy of it. I went for something colorful with this red beaded chain. They also gave us complimentary wine, water, and other drinks. What makes the jewelry permanent is that instead of a clasp that allows you to put on or take off a bracelet, these have a loop that welds the chain permanently together.
I feel like that's very safe.
Yeah. Okay, can we go ahead and load that for you?
You think that's good?
Michigan Avenue is the street of Chicago, and if Michigan Ave is the heart of the city, then Garrett's Popcorn is the stomach of this city. My family and I, as well as the rest of Chicago, come to Garrett's for the best popcorn. The combination that made this place so famous? Their cheddar cheese and caramel corn mix. This is the definition of sweet and salty. You can smell the butter and sugar creeping out of the store when you're simply just walking by. There's a large Hispanic influence in America. This comes from Mexican, Salvadoran, Cuban, and other Central and South American immigrants. We found this unique shop called Colores Mexicanos, bursting with beautiful cultural pieces from Mexico. I was so impressed by the details and colors of all of these items. A lot of these pieces are handcrafted and made in Mexico. The jewelry was my personal favorite of the store.
Free Palestine! Not another nickel, not another sign! No more money for Israel's crime!
That was like.
Another example of the Hispanic culture in America is this popular Mexican street food called mango con tajín. We enjoyed this snack consisting of sliced mango, fresh lime juice, salt, chamoy, a fruity and savory hot sauce, and tajín, a chili lime seasoning, while taking in the river, street, and building views of downtown Chicago. Another thing I love about this city is the random bits of nature sprinkled in amongst all the steel and concrete. This footage is taken in April, so you'll just have to imagine what it looks like in the middle of summer. We walked by this impressive building, which is the Art Institute of Chicago, on our way to Millennium Park. In Millennium Park, you'll find one of the most famous landmarks to see in Chicago, Crown Fountain. This fountain was made by an artist named Plensa as a tribute to Chicagoans. He used video technology to capture the faces of 1,000 residents. It's made up of two 50-foot glass brick towers that face each other, each about 50 yards apart. Behind the glass bricks are LED video screens that video images of Chicago residents' faces. The fountain's water features operate during the year between mid-spring and mid-fall, while the images are on view all year round. Once the water features of the fountain are in operation, the faces that are on display will periodically part their lips to spit water from a nozzle positioned on the screen surface. This is what the fountain looks like in prime summer. You'll also find the famous Cloud Gate, also known as the Bean, within short walking distance from Crown Fountain in Millennium Park. People love this piece of art because of its seamless, highly polished stainless steel surface that reflects Chicago's sky and skyline. It's also loved because of how interactive of a piece it is. Visitors can walk around it and under it, taking creative photos and videos to experience its shifting perspective. It truly is an engineering feat. This massive structure weighs 110 tons and was a complex engineering challenge to fabricate and assemble. It simply amazes me every time I see it. Side note, I swear I see a little reminder of the Netherlands everywhere I go now. After a long day of well over 20,000 steps, I parted ways with the city, headed back to Geneva, and had a very sad goodbye with my mom and sister. I was so happy to have created such fun memories with them before leaving, though. I started my last day in the Midwest with a morning run on a trail that goes through Geneva. My cousin then took me to a cute breakfast spot where I got to enjoy one last big, fluffy American pancake. The rest of the day was spent roaming around the quaint downtown strip. There were so many charming and locally owned stores and boutiques filled with anything from plants and home decor to jewelry and clothes. My cousin's son Jack tagged along, and he was even having a good time, as you can see. My favorite store was this one, called Grow. It's honestly a good thing my apartment was a few airplane rides away, or else I would have ended up walking out with a plant, one in each arm. The lighting and the decor in here was just too cute. The houses you see around here are just what one would imagine as a picturesque American town. Perfect manicured lawns, well-trimmed bushes, white picket fences, shutters around the window frames, and pastel colors everywhere. We grabbed a sweet treat from a local dessert shop before heading back. Because Easter was just around the corner, there were chocolate bunnies, chocolate pretzels, and caramel and chocolate-covered apples everywhere. So yummy. The weather when heading to the airport did not look promising. I had been checking the forecast all day, and Chicago was due for some extremely high winds, which are obviously not ideal for flying. Luckily, when I arrived to the airport, all departing and arriving flights were just as scheduled, thank God. Something I'll also miss about America are these filtered water bottle stations. In most European countries, I just have to fill up my water bottle from the tap and hope I don't catch a sickness. One last taste of good Mexican food before I leave, because I know I won't be having that for a while. My plane seemed to be relatively new, which for some reason makes me feel a little bit more safe when flying. I had a coconut curry, veggie, and rice dish, along with caprese salad and a phenomenal New York blueberry cheesecake for dinner. I got extra lucky on this flight. The seat next to me was open, so that allowed for some great napping conditions. It took about 8 hours to get to London Heathrow, and after landing there and hanging out for about an hour, I took my final flight of this journey to Dusseldorf, Germany. About 3 hours of trains and a bus ride later, I was finally in familiar territory again. Home sweet home, Netherlands. As I was walking up the driveway leading to the apartment, I felt like so much had changed here in the 2 weeks I was gone. Fields were freshly planted, trees and bushes began turning green. Flowers were blossoming, birds were chirping, but most importantly, the sun was shining. And although leaving behind the places and people I grew up around and with was difficult, these changes in my new home brought me fresh happiness and excitement for what's to come in my future here.